今天时节很好玩，我是德怡。今天呢，我带你们来到了纽约时装周第6的时装秀。那说真的，这个 season 我看到了很多亚裔面孔设计师。那 Daniel 他本身呢，也是来自一个华裔，再加上日本的背景，所以话不多说，我们先去看看后台喽。Behind your collection this season?
Okay, this time, if you know, right, the theme of the collection is called Ima Nippon. Actually, it's Japanese, means nowadays Japan. I'm sure everyone knows about Japan nowadays, right? More or less. But a lot of people don't actually really, a lot of people love Japan, like Japan, but they don't really know anything about Japan, you know. It seems like you guys know a lot, but actually not really. You know, maybe you know sushi, sashimi, or even anime, right? But a lot of people don't understand that actually Japan is a lot more than just anime and sushi. And this time the show is all about the struggle between traditional and modern society. Because if you know, right, we are from Asia or anywhere on earth like Europe, even New York, US, the modern society has been eating up the tradition culture. Like all the tradition is almost gone or just being very limited resources right now. Except Japan though. Japan, for some reason, the traditional culture, the tradition is still very, very strong. As you can see, girls will still wear kimono walking on the street, and the festival is still very, very strong. So, but at the same time, as you know, Japan is one of the most high-tech city in the world, and all the modern stuff, crazy fashion, you know, amazing culture is all mixed together. So there's a struggle. So this time my collection is not just about the tradition, it's not just about the modern, but the struggle as well. And because it's so much to talk about in Japan, so that's why it's 2 shows, it's part 1 and part 2. This time I only show part 1.
Wow, so exciting.
Yes.
So like with you, we have the Chinese and the Japanese background because you used to study fashion in Tokyo.
Yeah.
How do you think this has helped you in your fashion journey?
Let's whether Chinese or Japanese or Asian, right? The difference is the East Coast and the West Coast. I mean the Asia and West Coast or even Europe is so different, as you know. So what helping me is because I got a lot of background from the Chinese and I know a lot of Japanese stuff. So it's actually helped me on the detail. You know, for example, the detail on the systematic size or the uniqueness and simplicity from the Japanese. But at the same time, the tradition, the culture, the strong flavor from Chinese. However, and I have the both disadvantage, you know, Japanese, like me, I'm weird and I am crazy. So just like
That's how you get to be in fashion though.
I hope so. But then that's how I bring all this now to New York to show, you know, New York, US, and the whole world that what Asian actually can do.
So yeah, you're talking about Asian, I see that Asian and Asian Americans, they are right now being a force in this fashion industry with, I was looking through the list, I see many Asian designers and with like Claudia Lee, just this past Sunday, she featured 35 Asian casts. It's like, you know, moving the fashion diversity movement forward. And with like Asian, maybe raised into Asia and like trained in the States, like Jason Wu designers, or like even like Han Chong from South Portrait, born and raised in Malaysia. You as an Asian designer yourself, what are your views on this? Are you proud? What exciting?
Well, of course, right? Nowadays, like you said, right, the Asian designer is going up because, you know, let's say 20 years ago, right, 30 years ago, we don't have the resources, we don't have the technology, we don't have the education or the skill. But when Asia is, you know, the economy start flying up, like China, Hong Kong, or even Southeast Asia, like Singapore, Malaysia, when they start flying up and people get educated well and get educated more and more manner and more, you know, like diversify, right? So we start to learn more, you know, the culture, and then we start to be being creative. This is what happened at the end. This is the result, the consequence of how Chinese or Asian, not just Chinese, Japanese, or all Malaysian, the Asian, how they can go better and bigger, right? It's not, to me, it's not a competition. A lot of people say that, oh, you're a designer, I'm a designer, oh, he's a designer. To me, I see it as a team.
Collective.
Exactly. Not just Asian though. Even though, for example, right, I love Tom Ford, I love Michael Kors, you know, I love Marc Jacobs. it's just we all designers, they are all individual. Exactly, they are all different. But I want to work as a team, as a group, as a strong, united fashion industry that, not saying that, this is Asian, this is white people, this is black. I don't like that. I like to be, so that's why when you see my model, I will have all kinds of races model because I don't like that. I don't want to separate people. This is a teamwork. CFDA, IMG New York, working with all the designers in order to bring everybody up instead of just one designer or particular designer.
And my final question for you today will be, what is your vision for Danliu? Will you bring it, like, let's say, to China, such a big market?
Well, right now I'm actually, my team, I have other team developing a high-tech fashion app and a virtual reality technology. I can tell you now because it's already undergoing. I want to build Danliu design. The line is not just high fashion, but high-tech, high fashion. Wow. So from maybe starting 2019, you're going to see that I will have all kinds of crazy high-tech stuff in my design, in my collection, with apps, with fashion apps, and with a virtual reality technology. So.
Right, that's so exciting. Good luck for your show later.
Thank you so much. Nice meeting you.
The makeup that we did, this is inspired in the fox. The fox is like a god in Japan because they are smart and they're fast and they're very intelligent. And we did the inspiration on the fox and also on the lips. It's a bit like a geisha style, but we did it a bit more modern because this is the collection that the designer that Danliu wants is to bring Japan here in the modern society and to keep also the traditional for this look. So we did the look inspired in the geisha and in the fox style.
What we've done today is Dan wanted, what he actually sent was like a beautiful haircut, but obviously you can't cut models' hair, so we had to do a workaround and find out exactly what it was that he really liked about that particular picture of that hair, and so we've just had to adapt that hairstyle onto every model. And what we determined was that he liked that it came in and like almost like enclosed the face rather than there's so much runway hair of everything back off people's faces that he just wanted everything just in and closed in a little bit more, which is actually quite fun to do because we've done so much hair off and hair back this week. It's been great to do hair forward, and yeah, it's been good.
有点小声音。今天我们带你来到了一个3C event，那么在有这 event 所以我说就小声一点。那如果你喜欢时尚，或者想踏入这个时尚世界，那你就一定要把这视频看下去喽。那现在呢，也就是纽约时装周了。那三星呢以 WWD 杂志，也可以说是一个美国的时尚的圣经啊。那三星与 WWD 一起给我们带来了一些时尚的专家和内部人士。那他们会聊一些关于你想了解的时尚事件，例如如何踏入这个时尚的世界，或者创造你的个人品牌。那今天的主讲人呢，也包括了彪马的创意总监。话不多说，我们一起去听听吧。
Knowing yourself is super important, and what your expectations are. But then I think it's super important to start somewhere. I mean, even if it's something smaller, but start somewhere. Do your first job, try to build a track record, really, of experience. Even if it's an internship, even if it's a smaller company, it's okay. You got to start somewhere and move your way up. I think that is the advice that I would give as well. For example, I did a fake fur collection with a company in Poland when I first started out. Those are my first ideas coming out of Polymoda, and you got to start somewhere. I wasn't very selective at the beginning regarding what kind of product I needed to design, but I wanted to start, and that sort of educated me or prepared me for the next step.
Well, I think, you just got to do it. You got to figure out what your passion is, number one, because without passion, you're not going to go anywhere. It's the driving force behind success. So what is it about the fashion industry that you love so much? And then secondly, jump in it. Just, dive right in and don't follow what other people are doing. Don't think there's a specific winning formula for success. You see a blogger and then you want to be that blogger or something. No, I think, again, you have to just figure out who you are and create your own world. Like Thurston said, all the teachers were, working in the industry for some of the largest labels. So for experience-wise, I don't think I could have had that anywhere else in the world. It was just such a beautiful experience. And graduating, I guess a milestone after graduating was getting into the company that I really, really wanted to work for, getting my first internship. I was like super motivated. This is the company I want to work for. Funny enough, there wasn't a design internship, so I was like, okay, I'll do anything it takes to get in the door. I'll do sales. So I worked on the sales team, and they're like, wow, you're really good. We want to keep you. Let's move you to design. So one thing led to another. I got a full-time job there. I worked for many years for Donna Karan. Another milestone was like ending my corporate world at Calvin Klein. And then, of course, launching the collection with my brother.
What year was that?
That was in 2003. And that was very humbling moment coming from a huge corporate culture to this very small kind of startup. Traveling to all these boutiques on the road with a suitcase, showing the collection. That was, interestingly enough, a milestone, coming from all the glamour to reality, all the hard work.
I think I was always passionate about sports myself. I played soccer, I played tennis, I love kite surfing and fitness and everything, and on all of that, I realized, you could fuse that together with my other passion, which was design, and that really, formed sort of my personality very strongly at the same time, and has served well and helped for my career.
So how, for example?
Working, pardon?
How, for example? Can you give me an example of it?
Yeah, I think the key to design sportswear really is that it all derives from the function. You have to put yourself into the shoes of an athlete. You got to think about how can you help the athlete perform better. And there's aspects such as the pattern, the certain seamings, the fabric that you use. Obviously the dynamic that you want to express with the sports design regarding color, regarding the actual design and what you portray. And that's something that you always have to have, in the back of your mind, and then make it relevant. That's another very, very important thing. I believe that, nowadays, young designers have to take so many more things into consideration. It's not only product, but it's also, as you've mentioned, is about, diving deep into the consumer, how to communicate it, how to build the brand, how to stay connected, and obviously technology in it as well. How that plays a role. I think in our days when we first started out, we were very, very focused on the product, but that doesn't go away. I think it's extremely important that when you're designing, that the product and the design really remains at the heart and soul of the brand and of your ideas or of your collection. Yeah, because you can put so many fluff out around it. If the product's not right, you're not selling it. And that's what we have to take into consideration also very much in the corporate world, in the corporate sports world. It has to start with a product that has to be right.